Waves is the critically acclaimed drama starring Sterling K. Brown, and Variety's chief film critic Peter DeBruge is here with me to break it all down. Peter, I know you really love this film.
Yeah, this is a smaller movie, but one that I really wanted to take a moment just to share with people because when I saw it, I felt like it just really blew me away. It's a story of a family. It's mother, father, sister, brother.
We can go? Well, we can go right now. That's what's up. You think you can take the old man? Come on. What's up? Did you start?
You start out following the oldest son, who's a wrestling champ at high school. Class-wise, it's the opposite of Moonlight. It really doesn't have a lot in common with that, but it's kind of an interesting comparison that people have been making because here are two Florida stories about black families. This is a family with a certain amount of privilege and a lot going for them. That's the kind of train that's driving us for the first, segment of the movie. And then the movie just takes some real surprises. It asks us as the audience to sort of reset our expectations, to sort of take a character who is almost in the background, almost invisible, his sister, and suddenly follow her story instead.
So tell me more about some of the standout performances.
Well, so the sister that we're talking about, Taylor Russell, she's an actress who is totally new to me and yet a discovery. A lot of these cast members are either kind of early in their career or really breaking, and that's part of the pleasure of this movie.
Now, you mentioned this is a family drama, but without any spoilers, what can you tell us about just what's the plot, really?
Well, I think the plot is what are the opportunities ahead for these two children in the family, and we really are looking at the son. It's Kelvin Harrison Jr., who'd been so terrific in a movie called Loose earlier this year. Yeah. These two performances together, this is an actor who's, off to the races.
I'm actually curious about how does Sterling K. Brown, what is this role for him?
Yeah, so Sterling K. Brown is the father.
We are not afforded the luxury of being average.
His involvement in the film as a character, as an actor of that stature, is already, communicating something important about stereotypes. And he's very driven. He understands that and articulates the idea that their family, because they are not white in this community, are going to have to try harder to achieve the same level of success. And he's trying to instill in his son certain values. And we're really focused on this father-son dynamic. A big surprise, I think, to realize that the sister, she is not caught up in the same kind of priorities. It's not about, academic performance. It's not about sports performance.
Mm-hmm.
She is the kind of soul of this film, and you see that in a relationship she develops with a classmate played by Lucas Hedges. Again, one of the strongest young actors working today. They kind of go off on a journey of their own. I don't think the movie is so much about plot. It's not that that's not important, but it's not going to sell people on the movie. What's going to sell people on the movie is both, I think, the attention to the characters, the depth with which they're kind of captured and played, but also the kind of energy that this director imbues every moment with, where it just kind of comes to life in a big swell.
Trey Edward Schultz, this is his third movie. He's white. He grew up in South Florida.
That's right. So this is a community that he knows, but he's not African American himself. Of course, people are questioning these days who gets to tell whose story. But I think the work speaks for itself in this case. He really does capture this family. His first movie, Krisha.
Where have you been? What have you been doing?
Which is like a zero-budget indie film about kind of like the Thanksgiving gone to hell. And from that moment, that movie won South by Southwest, the film festival, and got him a lot of attention. I think we've recognized that Trey Edward Schultz was a talent to watch.
Since so much of what is in the movie theaters lately is just big franchises, sequels, we always talk about the big superhero movies. Where does a movie like Waves fit in?
I really credit A24 as being one of the big heroes right here because they're really investing in these new voices, people who are on their first or second, third film, and they're bringing us stories that aren't cookie cutter franchise pieces. Like last year they had mid-90s Jonah Hill's directorial debut. They had 8th Grade, the terrific coming of age story. These are movies that resonate with us in terms of our own experience and in terms of lives that we might just want to peek into that are different from our own. But it's tricky to sort of get the same attention, especially when you don't have massive movie stars in them. There's no question for me that Waves is a fully cinematic experience. And then he just uses music in such a powerful way. It takes every already compelling scene and it kind of amplifies and it surrounds you and it swallows you. And so this is a movie that just kind of like, I feel like I'm tingling with participation. I'm invested in the characters and I'm sort of electrified by just the way that storytelling is being presented.
Well, you sold me.
I mean, I hope that people will take a gamble on this movie.
Yeah, sounds great. Peter, thank you so much. And for more film reviews, click over to Variety.com.